It is good to be able to be with you again today. You have had the privilege of hearing a couple of my lectures. You watched a video of my lecture on global leadership and CQ. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I was in your class and we discussed personal leadership and purpose and the three relationships of a leader. Today, I'm going to address a different lecture, and it's on servant leadership. Servant leadership, you can see it there on your screen. Servant leadership is a course I teach at the university as well. I designed a course on servant leadership. I call this the 4 pillars of effective leadership. And so I will do a quick review of our last discussion on leadership definitions and relationships, and then we will look very specifically at the aspect of servant leadership. So thank you for your attention, and I hope that this will be very encouraging to you. We gave definitions of leadership. Leadership is influence. It is the ability of one person to influence another. Very important word of leadership is influence. That is the definition, one-word definition of leadership is influence. The ability of one person to influence another. My definition of leadership involved accepting a calling upon your life as you live a life of personal character, influencing other people toward a worthy goal. So you influence a person to a goal or a vision or a purpose. And that's what a leader does. They take a person and move them into a purpose or a goal. Again, leadership is a process whereby an individual influences a group of individuals to achieve a common goal. Effective leaders, though, influence people through relationships. And there are 3 relationships that every leader has. A leader and their mentor, a person that influences their life, a leader in themselves, and a leader in others. I drew this design on the board last week, if you remember, where a person takes others and brings them toward a purpose. They are leading other people toward a purpose. But that leader needs to lead themselves. They have to lead themselves first by drive and desire and by discipline, and understanding their own life to be a good, effective leader, leading people toward a purpose. And then there is a mentor that influences their life. There is a leader who speaks to them. There is a leader that tries to encourage them. I mentioned last week that Omari Sensei has been a mentor to me here in Japan, helping me to understand more of how to be more effective with teaching when I'm in Japan here at your university. Each person needs a mentor. And I mentioned last week that my mentor is God, is one of my mentors, and that's very important to me. Each person has to decide their own mentor. Then I gave what a leader does. That a leader also takes you from being dead to life. And I gave the example last week of my phone or my iPhone dying and how it was dead, but I needed someone to take that was dead and make it alive. And so a leader does 4 things. They lead by example. They inspire toward a vision or toward a purpose. They take you from fear to faith. They help you to overcome the fears. And in our culture, there have been many, many fears in our culture, especially because of COVID. And then a leader encourages your heart. They help you to say, yes, you can do this. Yes, you will be able to be a leader as well in life. Now, I want you to discuss at your table with your classmate which letter of life is the most important to you and why? We will go back. These are the 5 things, or the 4 things. Lead by example, inspire toward a vision, going from fear to faith, trust, hope, and courage, and encouraging your heart. So I want you to ask the person you are sitting beside. If you're not, if there's 3, you can turn to your third person. Then you can ask each other, which one of these 5, L-I-F-E, is most important to you? Which one do you want to be like? Or the one that you want to be your type of leader? Okay? They will take 2 or 3 minutes to discuss that. There, and so you discuss, and then I will come back and we'll find out your answer. Go right ahead. Discuss. These are the
speaking English,
Inspire a vision for vision. How about for you? That you lead by example. You are a good example. Very good. Good. Excellent.
I do the best.
Which one for you? E, okay. Encourage the heart? Yes, E is okay. And your
F.
F, okay. From fear to faith. Yes, well, good. Those are good. Go. Yeah, you can do it.
all right? Which one did you choose? Number 2.
Which one for you? Encourage your heart. You think it's fear to faith. Fear to faith. Overcome your fear. Good. That you inspire them towards the vision. The fear to vision. So you have 3 different ones. Lead by example. Inspired toward a vision. Okay. I would like to ask you to tell me on here, raise your hand. How many of you said for you the most important one was to lead by example? Let me see your hand. Those who said lead by example. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Anybody else? Good. Okay. Lead by example. Very, very important. What kind of example are you to other people? And what kind of person is your example to you? The example is very, very important. Number 2, inspire a shared vision. How many inspire a vision or goal? How many said inspire a vision? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 9. that's also very important because the leader always has a vision or purpose in mind. And so they are always thinking, what is the goal? What is the purpose? Where are we going in leadership? So yes, very important as well. F, from fear to faith or hope. What are some, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, yes. Many of those as well. Many of us, our world is very fearful because of coronavirus. We can be afraid of failure. We can be afraid of not having enough confidence or not having courage. And so the leader is a person who says, you can overcome your fear. My leader has helped me to overcome my fear. It says that perfect love casts out fear, because fear involves punishment. But you have been loved perfectly. And so when we are loved by our leader, it casts out the fear and gives us faith and hope and courage and purpose. So very important. And then one more, E, to encourage the heart. How many of you said encourage the heart? Good, yes. That is, we all need our heart encouraged. We all say, yes, you can do it. Yes, you will be okay. And we need a person to help us in the midst of our fears, in the midst of our leadership, as we are going in a direction. I have a gift for someone here in the class. I did not have this last time. That there is a book that we have used in America called Where is God in the Coronavirus? It's also in Japanese. I have a copy in Japanese. And so, whose birthday, does anyone have a birthday in June here in the class? If you are born in June, anybody? Hi, okay, when was your birthday? What's the date?
June 6th.
June 6th? Okay. And your birthday is June as well? What's your birthday?
June 11th.
June 11th, 6 and 11. Anyone else? Well, I will give you both. I have enough, I can give you both. You want this book in English or Japanese?
English.
English, okay. Do you want English or Japanese?
Japanese.
Okay, good. I have it. There you go. And that book will help you to overcome fear and will help you to understand how that though the whole world has coronavirus, that there is still a God. And God understands. And so that will may help you. We use that in the university. And so there you have that. So leadership involves going from you lead by example, you are inspired toward a vision or purpose, you go from fear to faith, and you are encouraging the heart. Now, what I want to do today is I want to kind of change a different perspective on the topic of servant leadership. And I want to communicate to you today that I believe one of the most important models or styles of leadership is servant leadership. Okay? So let's discuss that. I will first explain what servant leadership is, and then I will give you my example of servant leadership. Servant leadership is a new type of leadership theory. It is taught in universities. It is taught even at AGU, Oryama University here in Japan as well. A servant leader is servant first. It begins with the natural feeling that one wants to serve and to serve first. And it's different than being a leader first. Let me explain. Leader first or servant first. Welcome. Hi. And there is a spectrum. When a person is a leader first, they are thinking about themselves. They are thinking about you or me, just basically ourself. But when a leader is thinking of servant first, they are thinking of others. And it's very, very different between a thinking of self, yourself first, or thinking of others first. See, a leader that thinks of themselves first will always take the best seat on the train. They will always jump to the front of the line. They think they are the most important person. A servant leader thinks of others and helps them. I was on the train or the subway last week, and as I was on the subway, there was a older Japanese lady in front of me, and I was sitting down, and she was standing up in front of me, holding on, and she had a cane. And so I thought, no. And so I got up, and I went to her, and I said, please sit. And she said, no. And I said, no, please sit. And I brought her to my seat to have her sit down, because I am healthy, I am strong. She had a cane. So you think about others before you think about yourself. And that is an example of servant leadership. Think of others before you think of yourself. It's a very unique perspective of leadership, servant leadership. It appears to be a contradiction, a paradox, because how do you serve but also lead others? It can be very, very difficult. It can be hard to understand. It focuses on leadership from the point of view of the leader and his or her behavior. So it's how you act. It's the way that you act. It's the way that you behave with other people. And servant leaders put followers first, not second. Now this is an example or a picture of servant leadership. This leader he's here. And everybody looks to him, and he is the one or she is the one that's in charge, and everyone serves this person. In servant leadership, it's different. This person serves others. That's what this is a servant leader. They are the one that is thinking, how do I help you be more effective? How do I, as the teacher, serve you? Not how, as sensei, how do I serve you? Not how do you serve me as a leader? This is Nelson Mandela, was president of South Africa. He was imprisoned for 30 years, and then he got out of prison, and then he became the president. This is what he says. A leader is like a shepherd. He stays behind the flock, letting the most nimble go ahead, whereupon the others follow, not realizing that all along they are being directed from behind. It's like the shepherd of sheep, and he is gathered, pushing them, moving them forward, but they may not even see him, but he is directing them from behind. It looks like, again, like this picture. He is directing and guiding, still leading, but serving them as well. Greenleaf says it advocates building consensus in groups rather than being cohesive. So it's listening to people and finding out, yes, I want to know what you need and how I can meet those needs. Leaders have a social responsibility for the have-nots, or even for people who are having a hard time. The leader helps them. Leaders shift the authority to those who are being led, or they empower. They let you, the follower, be engaged and understand how to be a leader. And so they help you to be a leader as well. It's different than many other types of leadership. It puts followers first, but it's also important that followers be receptive to this style of leadership. The last point there says you have to be receptive, or you must want that kind of leadership. And now let me see. There are 8 characteristics That's an author Spears says about servant leadership. 8 things that a servant leader does. First of all, a servant leader listens. He or she listens to the people they are leading. Finds out how they are doing. What do they need? They listen. Okay, first listening. Number 2, a servant leader has empathy. A servant leader has empathy. It's standing in the shoes of another person. Much like compassion, empathy says, yes, how are they doing? And do I understand how you are doing? Like, for instance, here, even as I lecture in your class, I realize you are listening to me in English, but you speak Japanese. And so you are having to translate my English into Japanese to understand. And Obari Sensei has encouraged me, Weakley Sensei, slow down. So if I speak more slowly, you are able to understand. So I'm thinking, how does a Japanese student hear me? And I need to speak more slowly. That is empathy. Awareness. It's understanding yourself. It's understanding yourself and the impact that you have on other people. So you realize how you are doing so you can be a more effective leader. Number 4 is persuasion. It creates change from a gentle, non-judgmental attitude or argument. Basically, and so instead of telling you, you do this, you act this way, a servant leader persuades you. They talk with you. And they enable you to understand why you need to lead or why you need to follow and join with what is taking place. That's the first 4. Then the next 4 is a servant leader is also visionary. Conceptualization, visionary. Never forget, leadership always takes you to a goal or a vision or a purpose. And so even though you are a servant leader, you are going in a direction. You are leading people to head toward a vision and toward a goal. Number 6 is foresight. Foresight is the ability to predict what is coming based on what is occurring. So foresight is looking into the future. It's saying, I think this is going to happen. And it's being able to see farther. Example, with coronavirus, doctors were looking to anticipate and to explain what was going to take place with coronavirus. So they said, wear your mask or get the vaccination. They were forecasting or they had foresight to see how bad. And so your prime minister, your president, said, we will shut down Japan or we will close the stores in America when coronavirus because of the necessity to see what would be taking place in the future. And then the last 2 are very important. It's a commitment to the growth of the people that they are leading. See, when you serve, when the leader has other people they're looking toward, he is thinking, or she is thinking, how can I help them be effective in leadership? How can I help them grow? How can I help them understand? How can I help them to be a better person and to be a better student and to be a better leader? And the last one is the servant leader builds a community and puts everybody together and says, let's come together. Let's have a community. allowing followers to identify with something greater than themselves that they value. Now let me review these again. They listen. You must listen. Certainly, just help people to. I'll do it here. They listen to others. They have empathy. They are aware. They have persuasion. They are conceptualized, concept or vision. Foresight. Commit to the growth. And then community. Now that's the 8 things that the servant leader is thinking about: listening, empathy, awareness, persuasion, concept and vision, foresight, commitment, and community. Now that is similar to life. These are like this as well, but there are more. So what I want you to do, I will leave this screen on. I want you to think about, I want you to discuss with each other once again, which one of these do you think is most important? Or which one do you need from your leader? Which one of these do you need from the person who leads you the most? Okay? So discuss in your group, which one of these 4 do you think is the most important? And I will have them on the screen so you can discuss those in a second.
Use English, please. Yeah.
I'll go back and forth.
You see, there are 8. So you're going to look at 8. 1, 2, 4, and then 5
Yes. If you have a question, you may ask. Committing to growth. Committing to growth means that they look at you and they say, what do you need to be better? Persuasion is me trying to convince you.
Only in English, okay? No Japanese, yeah.
And so it's saying, you need to do this, so I will persuade you instead of saying, you do this, you do this. Okay? That's the difference. Did that make sense? Did that understand? Yes, okay. Persuasion is, are you in a club? What club are you in? Tennis club. Okay. A tennis coach is persuading you. They are saying to you, I think you can do better. Try to do your backhand differently.
instead of saying, you are doing bad, you need to do backhand. So they encourage you instead of just being coercive and making you act. That's persuasion instead of coercion. And commitment to growth is saying, you can do this, and how can I help you be better as a tennis player? And they are just encouraging you. You get it now? Does that make sense? Very good question. Which one do you think? Which one do you like the best? Empathy. Empathy. Empathy is that they listen to you and they try to understand your point of view. That is very good. Which one did you think? I'm sorry? Listening. Okay, that they listen to you. Good, that they are listening to you. Which one do you like the most? Foresight. That they had the foresight to think ahead and to know what you need. That is very good. Tennis coach. They look and they say that she is going to be a good tennis player. She needs to learn how to return her backhand. So they think ahead, not only do this, or not only over this. Yes, that is great. Which one do you think? Conceptualization. Okay, they look into the vision and conceptualize what you need. Awareness, that then you understand yourself and you can know how you are like and how you communicate. Very, very good. Which one for you? 7? Commitment to growth. That your commitment to the growth of the people that you are leading. Good. Okay. How about which one? 8. Building community. Yes.
No.
2. Okay. Empathy. Empathy. That the person has compassion and cares and is understanding. Yes. Very good. Very good.
And
Which one would you like?
Are you speaking Japanese or English? Are you using English?
You know which one?
No Japanese. Okay.
Listening, that they listen.
Keep talking, okay? Keep talking. Don't be quiet. Keep talking, okay? Keep talking.
How about for you, which one? Or the other list?
Two is more.
Okay. Persuasion, that they're able to persuade you to be a better leader. Good. Okay, good. How about you, sir?
You see generally speaking, right, the servant is not a good leader, right? Servant is going to serve you. But to be a great leader is to be a great servant. That's what the servant leadership is all about. Okay, that's a really important point.
Yes.
Right? If you are a leader, I think maybe the servant will serve you. That's it. That's all. Okay. Yeah, you have to serve other people. You know, to be a great leader is to serve others. That's why you have to be a great servant. Okay. Yeah.
That's Laura Sensei. Thank you for that. That is very, very important because it is again. It relates, the servant is thinking about other people. And a servant leader is thinking about you. You're thinking, how can I make you stronger? How can I make you better? How can I help you? If a person is only thinking, you serve me, you do what I ask, then they just want to be better. They want to be on top. But a servant leader says, you want to be on top. How can I help you to be the best? And so let's discuss these 5 things. I've talked to some of you. How many of you said listening is very, very important? I think I want my leader to listen well. That was your top one. Okay, 1, 2, all right. A number of you. Yes, you want your leader to listen to you, to say, I do not understand, help me. It's like you ask me a question, and that is I need to listen and try to explain what your question was. And the leader listens to you. You have to understand, and listening is communicating back and forth. Not just them speaking, but you also speaking and listening. Number 2 was empathy. How many of you said yes? Empathy or compassion? Yes. Yes. You want a leader that's compassionate. You want a leader who understands your situation and is willing to follow or is willing to help you be more effective as a follower. Anyone said awareness? There was a couple. Yes, awareness. That you personally, that is leading yourself. Unless you are self-aware, then you cannot lead someone else. You have to think, how am I communicating? How do they understand me? So you need to have self-awareness so that you can be more effective. Persuasion, the ability to be persuading a person instead of being coercive. Anyone said persuasion? Okay, yes. A couple? Yes, persuasion. That you want a leader to not to be mean and to say, you do this, and be real strong and be hard on you, but to persuade you and to encourage you that you can do it. And they persuade you and enable you to do the job and to do it effectively. Number 5 was conceptual or vision. Conceptualization or vision. Did anyone say that one? Vision? Yes. Okay, you did good. Yes. Again, all leaders, they have to take you to a vision. That is what leadership does. Leadership takes a person to a vision or to a goal. And so conceptualization is that leader, because a leader, even a servant leader, never loses sight of their objective. They never lose sight of their purpose and where they are headed. Foresight. Did anyone say foresight? Okay, yes, foresight. That is again, one of those things that you can predict. Oh, like I was talking to you about playing tennis. You want your coach or your teacher to say, this is what you need to do in the future that will make you effective. Obari Sensei does that with you. He says you need to understand global leadership and CQ to be an effective leader. You need to think about other things, and he gives you the foresight to say, this is what you need to study to be more effective if you want to be a global leader, not just a leader in Japan. Number 7, they are committed to your growth. Anybody say committed to your growth, your personal growth? Okay. And the last one was community, that they build community, that they help you understand that you are in a larger group. Can we build community? Yes. Okay. Yeah. That is the importance of a team. Any of you on a sports team? If you're like a sports, soccer or tennis or baseball, any team? Yeah. Because a team is very important that you play as an entire team, not just as an individual. On a baseball team, everyone has to play together for it to work. On a basketball team, you may be the great LeBron James basketball player, but if the rest of your team does not do well, you do not win the championship. So you all have to work as a team, and the servant leader brings the team together. Those are Spears. Again, Mr. Spears, Dr. Spears had 8 things. He actually had 10, but I just brought in these 8. What I want to do is I want to take those 8 and I want to give you 4. And it's Weakley's 4 pillars of effective leadership or servant leadership. 4 things that I believe are the most important for a servant leader. We will bring them together, and I will talk about each of these. It's the 4 pillars of effective leadership. They are conviction, companionship, courage, and compassion. And let me explain each of these. First of all, conviction. Another word for conviction might be commitment. What am I very committed to? It's that this is most important, and I have to be a person that believes that I am committed to these things. Abraham Lincoln said, always bear in mind, he was a great president of the United States, that your own resolution to succeed, your own commitment to succeed is more important than everything else. It is, what will I do? Am I committed to this? Do I have resolution? Do I have a conviction that this would be true? Now, convictions develop like this. There are circles. These are opinions. And there may be many, many opinions. This are your beliefs. But in the very center are your strong convictions. Opinions, beliefs, and convictions. Let me explain an example. One of my convictions is to tell the truth. Do not lie. That is a conviction of mine. So I want to tell the person the truth and not to trick them or not to lie to them. A number of years ago, my battery in my watch went out. It died. My watch battery died. And I took it to the jewelry store, and they unscrewed the back with little bitty screws, very, very small screws, to take the back off and then to put a battery in. Well, they put the back on, and then they started to screw the screw back to the back of the battery. And when they did that, they dropped the screw. And the screw was very, very, very small. I mean, barely, very, very small. And so the person got on their knees, and they were trying to find the screw. I got on my knees on the floor, and I tried to find the screw. And then I asked the question. I said, what happens if you do not find the screw? If the screw is lost, what do you do? And she said, I have to give you a new watch. And as soon as she said, I have to give you a new watch, I found the screw. So then I'm in a dilemma. Do I hold the screw in my pocket, or do I tell her that, because she stood up and she said, I did not find the screw, I will give you a watch. But I had the screw in my hand, in my thumb. And so, do I tell her I have the screw, or do I hide the screw in my pocket and I get a new watch? And so I said, I found the screw, and I gave it to her. And she said, oh, good. And she fixed my watch. The reason I did that was because telling the truth and not lying is important to me. That is a conviction of me. Every leader needs to say, what do I believe? And what do I believe with all of my heart? And I will not lie, or I will not cheat, or I will be honest, or I will be truthful, or I will be faithful. I have been married for 42 years to my wife. That I will be faithful to my wife. Obara Sensei has been married for almost 40 years. He's faithful to his wife. And so, what are the things that are true
for you, and those are examples of a conviction. Does that make sense? Do you understand? Question? Okay, that's the first pillar of leadership, I believe, is the pillar of conviction. The second pillar of conviction, the second pillar of servant leadership is the pillar of companionship. The pillar of companionship. It is having people in your life. King Solomon of Israel said this. He says, 2 are better than 1 because they have a greater return for their labor. For if either of them falls, the one will lift up his companion. But woe to the one who falls when there is no one there to lift him up. Furthermore, if 2 lie down together, they can keep warm. But how can you stay warm when you are alone? And if one can overpower him who is alone, 2 can resist him. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly torn apart. And King Solomon of Israel is saying that each of us need companions. Each of us need people in our life to be more effective as a leader. Okay? And so that's the second pillar of leadership. Let me explain. There are 3 types of companions. Here's another Japanese quote. A single arrow is easily broken, but not 10 in a bundle. There are 3 types of companions that I want to discuss briefly. And they are VRP, VIPs, and VTPs. Let me explain each. First is a VRP, or a very resourceful person. That is the person who is like a mentor to you. They are usually older than you are, and they have more experience. It may be like for you, the 3rd-year student on the tennis team instead of the 1st or 2nd-year student. A little bit older, and they help you to talk to you as a leader in your life. They can be a teacher. They're different than a supervisor, but it's a person who loves you and a person who is committed to you and wants you to be effective. It's the 3 relationships of a leader we discussed last week. Now it's the leader and their mentor. Everyone needs to have someone that is helping them to be a more effective leader. A leader and their mentor. Who is your mentor? What I want you to do, on your piece of paper, don't talk to each other, but I want you to write down 1 or 2 people that you could ask to be your mentor. You will have to maybe go to them and ask them, but who may be a person that can be your mentor? Just write their name on your notes. I will give you 1 minute to think. Who can be my mentor? Who can help me to be more effective and can be a resource to me in life? It can be in your athletic team, it can be as a student, it can be at your job, it can be when your hobbies, but it's someone that can be your leader. Who is that person going to be? Write their name on that piece of paper.
Okay, now tell one person who you think that may be. Just tell your person beside you, who do you think could be your mentor? And I will let you tell me. Your mother? Okay, good. Yes, that'd be wonderful. That's good. Tell the person that you're sitting beside who that person is.
Who's your mentor?
Who's your mentor? Your teacher.
Discuss who is your mentor. Who's the most who's your mentor?
Okay, so we'll go to the next relationship. We talked about the VRP is a very resourceful person. The next one is a VIP. They're very important people, and they're more like a friend. It is the person that is your same age, probably, that will tell you the truth. It's the person that you can talk to, and you can share your heart, or you can explain when you are afraid, or that you can say, will you help me? Or you can talk about your problems with, but it's someone that is important to you, that is about your same age, but they are there to help you and even to protect you. That person may protect you from harm. Protect from harm. They may be a person that will say, do not do this. Stop doing this. This is maybe not good for you or may not be helpful to you in the future. I will explain in my own life what that was like. A number of years ago, I went to the country of Poland in Europe, and I went to Poland in 1989. And I was there, and that was before the Iron Curtain came down. It was still communist in Poland. And I went to the country, and they warned us. They said, be careful, because there will be people that will be pickpocketers. They will try to steal from you. They will take money out of your pocket. And so I was there in the country, and it was interesting. I walked up, and I got surrounded by 3 or 4 people that were around me, and they were all asking me questions in Polish, and I did not know Polish. I said, no rozumiem, I do not understand. And they were distracting me. And then all of a sudden, I had a friend I was there in Poland with, and he came and grabbed my shoulder, and he turned me, and he said, Thomas, let's go. And he pulled me away. And then he said to me, these people were getting ready to steal your money, and they were distracting you. And my friend protected me. My friend saw what was happening and said, Thomas, let's go. And I was so grateful that I had a friend that was helping me to be more effective even in Poland. And that's what a friend does. A friend helps you. A friend is important to you and enables you to be a better person because they know your life. And so once again, write on your piece of paper, who is your friend? What is your friend's name? Just write it down. A person that helps you, that keeps you from harm, or that tells you the truth, in life. So you've got a mentor, now you have a friend. Who is your best friend that you can talk to about those things? Okay, so now you have a name of a mentor, you have a name of a friend, and next is a VTP, a very teachable person. The very teachable person is the person that you are leading. See, everyone has a leader, we have friends, and then there are people that we are trying to lead. Is this a first year class or second year class? First year class. Okay, so you're first year students. And so you're thinking second year and third year and 4-year students are my leaders, but who are you leading? Who are the people that you are leading? It could be a brother or sister, or it may be someone younger or someone even in your class. Because leading other people is always good for you, that you are the example, that you lead by an example, and that you inspire others to lead as well. So the question is, who are you leading in life? And so be thinking about that. But at this point in your life, you can ask the question, okay, what kind of leader do I want to be? Do I want to be a leader who does these things? And so that will help you to be a more effective leader. So so far we have talked about 2 pillars. The pillar of conviction, then the pillar of companionship. Now the third pillar is the pillar of courage. The pillar of courage. You must be a person with courage if you are going to be a good leader. Again, Nelson Mandela said this, I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Meaning that the leader is a person that has courage. They have strength to overcome their fear. And they say, yes, this is a problem, but we can go, we can make it. We can reach our goal, we can reach our vision, and we can have courage in life. Christopher Columbus said, you can never cross the ocean until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. Again, you can never cross the ocean until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. See, leadership has foresight. You're looking ahead, and you may not know what is there, but you have the courage to say, I will go, and I will be a leader, and I will have the courage that is necessary. Moses of Israel said, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid at the sight of them, for the Lord your God is with you. And he was leading an entire nation. And he said, you be strong and courageous, and you can be a better leader. Muhammad Ali, the boxer, the American boxer, the famous boxer of all time, said this, he who is not courageous enough to take risk will accomplish nothing in life. He who is not courageous enough to take risk will accomplish nothing in life. So a leader always has to say, I do not know, but I will be courageous. I am afraid, but I will be courageous. I will go from fear to faith, and I will move from fear to faith. And the last pillar of leadership is the pillar of compassion. The pillar of compassion. Spears said, use the word empathy. I will use the word compassion. That you have compassion for other people. You must be a person with compassion. Douglas MacArthur, the great military leader of America, said a true leader has the confidence to stand alone, or you could use the word maybe even courage there, but the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. See, compassion helps you to listen. Compassion enables you to be willing to hear about your followers and what they are doing. He says he does not set out to be a leader, but becomes one by the equality of his actions and the integrity of his intent. One more time. A true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen. So here are some of those pillars, all in one statement by Douglas MacArthur. The Dalai Lama said this: love, and he's a Buddhist leader, love and compassion are necessities. They are not luxuries. Without them, humanity cannot survive. See, if you have courage and you have strength, but you do not have compassion, you will not be nice to people. You will not be kind. If you have confidence and courage, but do not have compassion, you will not be kind, and they will not want to follow you. So your compassion is very, very important. Do you care for other people? When you see other people, do you think about yourself, or do you think about others and how you can help be compassionate and love them and be compassionate toward them as well? Saul of Tarsus in Rome said, put on a heart of compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience, bearing with one another and forgiving each other. And beyond all these things, put on love, which is the perfect bond of unity. He says, put on compassion. He says, you wear compassion like it's a coat. You put it on, and you become compassionate to other people. And one more quote. The Apostle Matthew from Israel said, and seeing the multitudes, Jesus felt compassion for them, because they were like sheep without a shepherd, or they did not have leaders. And so Jesus, I believe, who was the greatest leader of history, was very compassionate in life as well. So the question for you and the question for me is, what is the foundation for your leadership? What is the foundation for your leadership? Or to make it look like this, you have 4 pillars. And leadership sticks on top of that. But each of these pillars are not individuals. They stand on something. Those pillars must have a foundation. Where do you put your compassion, or your conviction, or your companions, or your compassion in life? Where do those things, or the courage, they all need a foundation in life. And so let me give you some options. For some people, the foundation is their group or their organization. And what gives them the ability to support their life is the group or the organization. But we must understand that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And so if your group is weak, then maybe your pillars may collapse. For some people, it's themselves.
I can do this. I will be compassionate. I will be courageous. I will have companions. I will have convictions and commitments. And then you think it's, I will do it myself. Well, when that happens, sometimes you lead like this and you start to lose those things. For some people, it's their mentor. It is their leader. But you know, every leader I have ever had has disappointed me. No leader is perfect. And so if it's your mentor may disappoint you. And so because they are not perfect. I will give you a recommendation as a leader or a person that you could put there, and that's Chi Unaya Sugahara. He is the alumni from Waseda University, and he was a man that I believe is like this. I believe he was a servant leader. He had conviction. He was the individual that was willing to risk his job, and he even went to prison, was imprisoned by the Japanese government because of his efforts to take care of the Jewish population during World War II. He was a person with great conviction. Jews are humans. They are people. They need to be protected. Even to the point that he was willing to risk his job and to risk his going to prison. He had courage to be strong even though it was difficult. And he had compassion as well. He loved people. And so therefore he became he is a great example. He saved thousands of people's lives in World War II. A Japanese citizen who was an ambassador, a diplomat during the time of World War II. For some people, religion is their most important foundation in their life. That is true for me and true for others, that my relationship with God is what I put right here as the foundation in my life. Now the question for you is, as I think about it, is that Jesus was the greatest leader of history. I've talked about Buddha or the Dalai Lama. I've talked about others, but Jesus was a person of conviction. He knew what he believed and was committed. He had companions who followed him. He had courage, and he loved us so much that he died on the cross for our sin. But the question for you is, I don't know what will be your foundation, but each leader has to decide what his foundation or her foundation will be. Will it be your religion? Will it be God? Will it be your mentor? Will it be your friends? Will it be yourself? But each person needs a foundation to their leadership. Who or what will that be? Now I want to ask you yourself your questions to discuss just a minute. Which of these four pillars is your strength? And which one do you need to make better? Okay? Which one of the pillars is your strength? And which is the one that you need to make better? Okay, so discuss in your group, just for a couple more minutes. Which is your strength? Yes, I am good at this. And this is the one that I need help to be better. So those four things on your screen: compassion, courage, companions, and conviction. Which is your strength? Which is good? Which is the best for you? And which is the one that is not the best? Discuss.
Let's have a discussion. Okay.
Which one did you say? Yes, that's good.
What's up? Maybe you put yourself in another person's compassion. I think I should avoid it.
Which one is your strength? Which one is your weakness? The four.
What is conviction?
Okay. Good. All right. And which one is
Why? But you always say something, you have to support them.
How about you?
If you say something, you have to also support the statement.
The best?
You have to be very hard. Why you say why people think
Which one do you think is the best?
say something, you have to support the
He said companionship.
always. You understand that? You have to always say the reason.
That's okay.
Why
You
did
can
you
do
do
it. Which one did you say was the best? Pardon? Compassion? Okay. Hi. How about courage? Okay. All right. Good. Anyone else? Conviction? Compassion? Yes. Which for you? Which is best? Compassion? Okay. All right. Yes, good. Okay. How about what was yours? Best, the best? Courage. Okay, courage. Which one went for the lowest? What was the lowest?
It was a really excellent student.
I can't choose them.
Okay. All right. Anyway, compassion and courage are good. Those are two very.
Always.
Yes, they're good. Yes, very good.
Just open your mouth, keep talking. Don't be quiet. Keep talking, please. Keep talking.
Okay, we will go ahead. I'm curious, how many of you
All right, good.
compassion, courage, companions, and conviction? Okay. Yes, okay. Which one says compassion is the best? Okay, compassion, okay. How about courage? Okay, you said the courage, all right, good. How about companions? Okay, your companions, all right, good. And conviction. Okay, well, great. Well, what I have tried to do in this little diagram is to give you a picture of servant leadership. We have talked about Spears' 8 perspectives of servant leadership. We have reviewed the relationships of a leader, but I wanted to give you a picture like a Roman cathedral or 4 pillars of life that you think, okay, how am I doing? Do I have good companions? Do I have courage? Am I a person of compassion? And do I have convictions or commitments? And if you will be able to think about those 4 things, I believe can become an effective servant leader. The first person you need to lead is yourself. And if you lead yourself in these 4 areas, you'll be a servant leader for many other people as well. Thank you for your time today. I appreciate your attention. Obara Sensei, I will turn it back over to you.